So hello, everybody. Here we are at Area-Wide Advisory Council meeting in October already. Call the meeting to order. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from July, which seems like forever ago. Any comments or anything? I guess I have to make a motion to approve the minutes from July.
So moved. This is Jeannie.
Thanks, Jeannie. Can I have a second?
Hey, Lori, it's Kathy Ruther.
Thanks, Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Any opposed? Wonderful. So before we get to this wonderful collab with the libraries, which I think is so awesome, let's start with our county reports here. Do we have anybody from Portage County on? I don't have the privy, Courtney, to see who everybody's here.
I think Melissa was going to call in today, so I'm not sure. I see a couple phone numbers on our attendance list. I'm not sure if one is Melissa.
And if not, we can circle back. I'm glad Melissa's going to be on. Why don't we circle back to Portage? Would that be okay?
Yep, that'll work.
Okay. All right. How about Stark County? Dan?
Yes, hi. Very glad to report the age-friendly committee is progressing. You know, as you all know, they secured funding from several foundations for the assessment by the Center for Community Solutions. They have finished their work with surveys and focus groups and have issued their assessment report. It covers the 8 traditional areas of the age-friendly protocol, and they also added some questions for folks about long-term care, which I was very glad to see, since, you know, about a third of people who hit the age of 65 are going to wind up in long-term care. So it's a fairly substantial portion of the population they're targeting. They have their timeline for the future. You know, the assessment is done. Next year, 2024, will be a year of planning, and then the following 3 years will be the implementation of the plan. So it's really coming along a lot of good work with that committee.
Great. Nice to see it moving forward. That's a wonderful thing.
For sure.
How about Wayne County? Anybody on for Wayne?
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Thanks, Ella.
Okay. Well, I really don't have any report of substance, but I do want to say that the senior forum that was held here a couple weeks ago had about 400 attendees. And there were representatives from Direction Home there. And it was a good day. Everyone had lots of fun. It was very informative, and there were plenty of vendors there that people enjoyed.
Great. Wonderful. I don't know why I skipped Summit, but I did.
Lori,
Leapfrog Summit, yes.
before we move from Wayne County, I just want to say 2 things. One, I'd like to congratulate Ella, our Wayne County president, on being inducted into the Senior Citizens Hall of Fame in Columbus as part of ODA's, the Ohio Department of Aging's class of 2023. Congratulations, Ella. Very, very, very well deserved.
Thank you.
And second, I would like to say a special thank you and shout out to Commissioner Smale, who's on the call. She and Commissioner Amstutz had gotten back to me regarding the new healthy aging grants that have come out from the state as part of the state budget this year for the next 2 years. Each county administration is going to get a sum of funds to direct towards older adult services, including nutrition, housing, and other areas. And as the area agency on aging for Portage, Stark, Summit, and Wayne counties, we've reached out to the leadership to let them know that we have resources and programs at their disposal to help with those grants. And Commissioner Smale was very nice to get back and let me know that we would be at the table for discussions coming up. So thank you for that, Commissioner, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Matt. Yes, Ella, congratulations, everybody. I don't know if you can see are clapping and all kinds of stuff. So very, very, very cool.
Thank you.
So I'm going to circle back because I'm pretty disorganized today, apparently. How about Summit, Jeannie?
Hi there. Hi, everybody. And Ella, congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you.
I'm excited to report today about something that Direction Home has been really involved in. And as we all know, there's been a huge shortage of people available to work. And this has been going on since COVID. And now it seems just to be exasperated. But especially the service industries. So working with the Summit County executive, Direction Home and the county have placed robots in 2 of the skilled nursing centers in Summit County. And when I was told about this, it was so exciting. And these robots are being utilized to help deliver meals and do cleanup afterwards. One is at the village of St. Ed's in Fairlawn, and the other one's at the Copley Health Center. And here's just some statistics that Courtney has supplied to me. And thank you, Courtney, for this information. In St. Ed's in Fairlawn, they've delivered 521 meals, and the robots have traveled 7.65 miles in doing these deliveries. And in Copley Health Center, there were 1,106 deliveries, and that robot has traveled over 100 miles as they're utilizing these robots. I'm absolutely fascinated by this. I think it's a test program. Is that right, Matt and Courtney, to see how they work?
Yep.
So it certainly does fill a void that these centers have in caring for their residents, since they can't find people to do these tasks. They help with the delivery of the DoorDash. When it comes, they delivers them to the residents. They do tray pickup. They deliver other packages. I mean, it's fabulous. They sent me a little video of it, and I was like, wow, this is like way in the future, but it's happening now here in Akron, Ohio in 2023. There's going to be a press release in November and a media event that will happen about a month later, which Direction Home and County Executive Eileen Shapiro will be involved in. So that's it's fabulous. Do you have anything to add, Matt or Courtney, to that?
No, that was great. Just that we Abby and I were at the Summit County Council committee meeting on Monday, and one of the folks asked us about the robot pilot, which came out of a suggestion that May Chen had made at a nursing home task force meeting that we had that Jeff Wilhite had put together, and everybody was really impressed at the numbers and the ability of the robot. The quote that I heard from one of the facilities was, we don't know how we ever got along without it. That's a adapted quote, I would say. Maybe not those exact words, but that sentiment for sure. And so, yeah, we're very excited to kind of share this news and some of the outcomes of the pilot. And, hopefully this will cause other facilities to look at this as a viable option for assistance in the future, where, staff time is a commodity. And so trying to make sure that we have enough is really important.
Thank you, Matt. As we know, it really is almost in a crisis situation. And if we have to resort to robots, so be it. I mean, the idea is to take care of the residents in these facilities. And I think it's fabulous. Coming from an HR perspective, it'll be easier to manage. Okay. And then Courtney shared with me also that, and correct me if I say this wrong, that Direction Home has developed a partnership with the National Psychology Museum at the University of Akron. And the partnership is they're displaying content from two of the members. Is that of Direction Home? Two members of Direction Home and survey responses that Direction Home has acquired. Is this correct? Am I saying that correctly?
You got it.
Okay. And they're doing an exhibition with Beyond the Picket Fence, correct, Courtney? And
Yep.
that goes through the summer of 2024.
Yep, you got it. And now we're talking about future exhibitions as well, and potentially doing a full one all around aging and art and all sorts of stuff. And a couple years down the road, because they, museums got to have their schedules and plan pretty far out into the future. But we're starting those discussions too.
I think that collaboration between the University of Akron and Direction Home is just, that's a great resource. And congratulations to you guys for that outreach and the fact that we were able to do that. So, and that exciting news is what my report is, unless somebody else has something else to say, but I'm very excited about the robots.
Just to add that the program that was announced at the State of the County address a couple weeks ago, the Aging in Place program, the funding was approved through committee at committee's meeting on Monday. And so it will go to the full committee meeting Monday for final approval of that legislation that will provide $4 million a year for 2 years to Direction Home to expand our care coordination program, provide digital inclusion and access to older adults and people with disabilities in the county, and also provide minor home modification and chore services for small jobs and issues to be taken care of in the home, or in the home kind of large sense that would allow older adults to remain there instead of have to go to a facility. So we're really excited about that, and hopefully at our next meeting in January we will have news on its rollout and more information for you. But if anybody on the Areawide Council hears of questions from Summit County older adult residents, caregivers, etc., if you could just have them give us a call at our screening and assessment department, our front door number, we can put that in the chat there for you, or make a referral through our online website for information on the Aging in Place program. We're crafting a waiting list process currently where we're taking names, numbers, and information so that when we have more information on the program in January, we'll be able to call folks back. So that's what I have for Summit.
Hey, Matt, quick question. Is this the program that that you mentioned to me about providing computers and instruction for senior adults in their home? Is this the program that will be able to do that?
Yep. So the digital inclusion portion will not just include training, but also a limited supply of devices and MiFis for internet access for older adults that don't have the access currently.
Wonderful. That's it for my report.
Thanks, Jeannie. Appreciate it. Courtney and Matt, thanks so much. So let's circle back to Portage County. Courtney, anybody there that you can see?
I'm still not sure about Melissa or if she's able to unmute or not, but it looks like Crystal might have something.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. So just a quick report, the things I know happening in Portage County. They had a very successful senior celebration on October 11th. It was a Wednesday. They had almost 200, I think they said, seniors in attendance, seniors and community friends in attendance. It was held in Kent, the American Legion. And the theme this year was Oktoberfest. It was put on by the networking group PSSN. And so they're looking at getting that back on the calendar for next year. I believe this was their first one since the pandemic, as far as this big of a number. So they were excited about that. And there were 3 honorees that were honored for their help in the community. And Ella, congratulations to you for your state honoree. That's very exciting. So the 3 people, there was 1 male, 1 female, 1 couple in Portage County that were standouts for their service and what they do for Portage County. So I think they're looking at moving that to the spring next year and combining that with what used to be the senior celebration every single spring for Older Americans Month. So more information to come, hopefully next year on that.
Great, thanks, Crystal.
You're welcome.
Pretty awesome to see the county so active and doing different stuff, because there for a while we were all kind of, so we're picking up the pace, I think. Thanks very much, everybody, for your reports. So Matt, are you going to introduce for our library crew? I love this collaboration. I think it's so great.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I'm going to turn it over to Courtney because I have to give her a huge shout out. Courtney has been the brains of the operation as far as these presentations have gone. And so, Courtney, thank you so much for your diligence and ability to pull together a fantastic panel for us to hear from today. As I said, I'm a firm believer that knowledge is power and that libraries have firmly stepped up, especially in this kind of post-pandemic world, to become more than just a place to get books, but also a housing place for all sorts of knowledge access and abilities. So I'm very excited to hear from our partners, and we'll turn it over to Courtney for any further introductions.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually even pass that things off to Dan, because his updates about the North Canton Library and all the work that they do the past few months really have inspired this entire panel. So thank you, Dan, for being so enthusiastic and informative about what libraries are doing. And we're fortunate enough to have a whole bunch of libraries join us, at least one from each county today. So that's very exciting. And we'll hear a little bit more about that North Canton Library experience later from Christina. We're also going to welcome Jennifer from Stark Library, Michelle from Akron Summit County Public Library, and then Portage County Library wasn't able to make it, but they did send in slides that I'll run through pretty briefly because I don't want to step on their toes and start preaching things that they're not doing. So I'll just go do a brief overview of that. But first, we'll get started with Diana from Wayne County Public Library.
Hello. So we'll go through very fast. I don't want to, take up more than my 5. My name's Diana. I'm the Adult Department Manager at the Worcester, Maine branch of the Wayne County Public Library. And I will just tell you kind of what we've been up to. I got my slides pretty brief so I could just kind of explain. I'm going to start with some things that, as I was thinking about it, these programs didn't start off as being marketed towards older adults, but older adults are who we see at these programs most represented. So one thing we offer is one-on-one tech help. A staff member will sit down, usually in a half-hour setting or more or less, depending on what the topic is, and just assist the patron to learn whatever it is. Sometimes it's, those good old standbys. I need my email, I need my Kindle, what is this new smartphone? But then sometimes it's, a little bit more involved if it's something for a job or they just want a better understanding of things. And then there are some other programs like Click and Stitch, which is our knitting group. I run that. It's mostly older adults. Spice It Up, which is our cookbook club, mostly older adults. And so things like that didn't start out that way, but it's nice to see that that's who's there. So next, please. And this one, Don't Be a Couch Potato Aerobics, was originally meant for older adults. It's an aerobics class. It's pretty low impact, just get you moving. Jeannie, who is one of our fabulous adult staff members, sets it to different themes of music. And it gets a pretty good turnout. People generally love it. One thing that I forgot to put on any slide, and I would like to mention, is the senior forum was brought up in Wayne County. We are there every year. So it's nice to get out and see people in the community. Another way we do that is with our home delivery service, which I completely forgot to put on here. But we go to just anyone in the county who needs it, all over, and that includes nursing and assisted living homes. So if we could, next please. And this one was kind of fun. We call it Dancing from the Inside Out. It was a with the Ohio Arts Council's Creative Aging Initiative. They wanted to have, gotta look at my notes now, I wrote it down. Like teaching artists around the state to work with community institutions and offering arts-based programming for older adults in a residency style. So ours was 8 weeks. Our artist was Kimberly Jarvis, which you may know her from Buckeye Book Fair, who we work closely with at Wayne County Public Library. And she did 2 sessions for us. This was all through Ohio Arts Council grants, and it paid for her time. And then it offered a chance to connect older adults with art. So that was specifically ages 55 and up. And we have run 2 sessions of it, and usually in like the summer is when we do that. So that's been well received for us. You could next for me, please. This is something we've recently started. These are memory kits. We have done them by early, mid, and late stage for dementia. They have just general information, a caregiver's guide, and then activities. So like a puzzle or a painting kit, like those kind of things, a maze, like they're each is different. And then we've also put in a movie or a TV show. And these were funded for us from our fabulous friends of the library in Worcester. So shout out to them. They're great for us. So, and then looking ahead, another shout out to my friends of the library to create a dementia-friendly book collection. So this was something that was specifically requested of our library, and it's right now we're looking to get mostly like short story kind of based or photography based books. I have a list sent in to my TS, so hopefully those will be before the end of the year. And then working with Direction Home, we're going to start a caregiver meeting once a month starting next year. So, and that's our Wayne County update. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're going to hold off questions to the end, so we're just going to go straight on over to North Canton now.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Wyrick with the North Canton Public Library. I'm the Community Relations Manager here, and all of our outreach programming falls within my department. So that's why I'm here speaking with you today. Dan, thanks for all of the praise that you have given us, and Sam, who is unfortunately no longer with us. We will get to that, but we really appreciate the praise from you and just the support as we've worked to kind of serve this community. So I won't go through our core values, but this is straight out of our strategic plan and just kind of summarizes why serving this community is so important to us, right? We want to be service focused, community oriented. We want to inspire all of the good things and be accessible. Okay, Courtney. Then, so the way that this kind of came about is we launched what we call NCPL in Motion. So it's all of the programming that happens outside the walls of the library. And really that falls into 3 categories. So there's delivery of materials to those who, for whatever reason, cannot physically make it to the library themselves, which is very common. I think a lot, most libraries have that sort of program. And then programming that's targeted to underrepresented populations, which includes our older adults, and then participation in and organization of community events, which again, all libraries are doing that as well. That's just, setting up at area events and getting our name out there. Okay. So the way that In Motion kind of came about, it started as homebound delivery, and that was administered, as Diana said, our friends of the library do all of the great things. So they honestly started this program on their own, and they were the ones coming and pulling the books and doing the deliveries and doing all of the things. And then as we launched a new strategic plan and decided that this was going to be a crucial piece of our programming, we decided to bring that, in-house, I guess. We launched the In Motion brand in 2015 and hired a community outreach person to go and do that work of making all of those deliveries. And then in 2022, we blew it up. We hired a second person in the department that was an outreach associate. If any of you have heard of Sam, we hired Sam. She was amazing. And she just resigned and took a manager position at Barberton. So yay for Barberton, sad for us. But at any rate, we hired her in 2022 because we were going to add several things. And one of those things was operating a senior center in our city. So we'll get to that. But so that person did the homebound deliveries, did a program called Special Delivery, which is delivery to new parents or someone who's added a child to their home. And then the senior center programming, and then helping with community events. Okay, Courtney. So this person really helped to build this program. And in fact, we realized that this is such a crucial piece of our team that we are hiring. We are looking to find someone to take Sam's role, but we're hiring that as a librarian position rather than an associate position. So that makes all of the sense in the world to those of us who are with libraries, but for those of you who aren't, an associate position requires a bachelor's degree in really anything. And a librarian position, number one, allows us to pay more, which is part of our motivation here, and requires the master's in library and information science. So that position is posted internally currently, and I don't think anyone's going to apply for it. So we'll be posting that publicly. So if any of you know any amazing librarians, the two of us that are left in my department are filling in and keeping all the things going, but we're anxious to get someone new into that role. Okay, so a couple things came together in 2022 and 2023. One is that we applied for an ARPA grant, which is what the American Rescue Plan Act, and received just over $100,000 to purchase an outreach van. So we use that primarily to drive and deliver items to take to events. It's nice because prior to having this, we were delivering in our own vehicles, which is fine. But, for example, today I went and picked up from someone who told me that she'd had bed bugs a month and a half ago. And I was like, cool. So, these are things that we're all dealing with, right? But it was nice to be able to throw those into the van rather than into my car and come back and everything was fine. But at any rate, so the van is fantastic for a number of reasons. And it's really just kind of increased our visibility as well. So that is one of the things that happened. And the homebound delivery, I really don't have any. That slide doesn't even need to be there. Courtney, you can just go straight past it. Okay, so the senior center. This was a vision of our mayor. When he ran for election, I believe it was 4 years ago, he kind of had as one of his platforms creating a senior center in North Canton. And I'll be honest, like part of the way that this came together, I also serve on city council here. So I knew that this was something that he really wanted to do. And I knew that the library really wanted to offer senior programming, but we have one program room that can be divided into two with a movable wall. The space is always used. There was no way we could dedicate 9 hours a week to this sort of a program. So we have a civic center that sits empty most of the time, other than hosting our farmers market once a week. And so we talked to the city and said, hey, I think, you guys have the space. If you will give us the space, we will provide programming. We're going to hire someone because we need someone to drive this van anyways. And we can kind of just build this out in that way. And so we did it. And it's been just over a year now. We did take the month of January off to plan. And I think we're going to do that again this year, because planning, any of you who plan programs, you know, planning, 2 programs a week every month it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's fantastic. And we have a solid crew of people who come each week. We offer fitness from 10 to 11. So we have had Lori out several times, yay Lori, to do bingo size and Tai Chi. And that's been fantastic. And it's especially fantastic because we don't pay for that, right? Like we, Direction Home covers the cost of that. And that is huge for us. Currently we are offering chair yoga, and we are paying yoga teachers until we can, I'll be in touch, Lori, we're going to get you hopefully signed up, or your team, someone, for January. But right now we are paying different instructors to do chair yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then we do kind of, yay, okay, thanks, Lori. Then we do a coffee break. So we provide just some snacks. And we always have coffee. We have a Keurig and tea and bottled water and things. And at first, like, the people did not hang out. They, you know, were like, what do we do from 11 to 12:30? And they would leave, and it was kind of awkward, but now they've become friends, and there's this amazing community, and they stay. Several of them bring a lunch. Sometimes they'll go and buy lunch and bring it back. And then from 12:30 to 2:30, we do different programming. So I think the next slides are just photos where you can see, Courtney, if you want to kind of go through those. We had a Hawaiian party one day. They've made wreaths. We have storytellers come in. We had a magician come once. We have really, I mean, crafts. We do a book club once a month. And part of how this, thank you, Courtney, how this happened is we were one of 6 libraries to receive an LSTA grant in 2022, 2023. It was for 2023. So at any rate, and we had $8,000 from them to pay for speakers and programs. And that really helped us a lot. But we've built that into our budget for 2024 without having to get grant funding, because we just realized it's really important, and having our single staff person presenting these programs every day is impossible. I mean, it's probably not impossible, but it's a lot to ask. So it's been great that we've been able to bring in professionals to do cooking demonstrations and, you know, arts and all kinds of things. Let's see what else. Oh, and then something else really cool that's come out of it is this partnership with Walsh University. So they're a university right here in North Canton. And it's funny, I know this as a city council person, that we're always like, how can we build a better relationship with Walsh? Why isn't Walsh doing more stuff like in the city? You know, they're on their own little island up here. And so they actually reached out to us and said, hey, we want to get involved with the library somehow. We met, we were getting ready to launch this programming. This lovely woman standing there is Bridget. I was like, Bridget, we're doing this with the seniors. We'd love to have you. So they come once a month. They pay for all of their supplies. They bring speakers. They're going to do a music program with like the head of their music department coming up soon. We go there like November 7th. We will lose our space at the Civic Center because it's voting day. So we're going to take a field trip to Walsh with the seniors that day. So it's been very cool. But what I kind of alluded to at the beginning is now our mayor, it cracks me up kind of, but he's like, yes, we've got our senior center with the library in Walsh. And I'm like, Mayor, look, Walsh is there one day a month, and we're there all the days, but it's great. He's so proud of it. And it's just really brought everything together in this community. I feel like we're really building community there. So I'm sure I'm way over my 5 minutes, so I will stop talking, but that's what we have done.
All right, thank you. And I know there's some contact information on these slides and everything, so we'll be sure to get the whole deck out to everyone so you can go through on your own time as well and dig a little bit deeper if you need to for each of your respective libraries. So thank you. We're going to move on to start with Jen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's great to hear what it's going on with this group. Before I get started, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to Christina. I happen to live just a few blocks from the North Canton Public Library, and my longstanding next door neighbor, who is recently retired, lives by herself, looking for contact, was just talking to me the other day about how much she's enjoyed going down to those events down at the senior center. It's really great to see, and I can tell you that that individual has tremendously benefited. I saw her in one of your pictures, so kind of fun to see. Yeah, so let me talk a little bit about what we do at Stark Library. I want to echo some of the things that Diana was mentioning too. A lot of what we, when we do programming that connects with older adults, we find that sometimes we are targeting something for older adults and we find that it benefits everybody. And then other times we start things for everybody that we find older adults specifically consume. So it's always interesting to me when you target in on a particular group for the things you think they need, and you realize those needs are broader than that group. And it's kind of a nice way actually to connect different portions of our demographics together and recognize commonalities rather than kind of isolated siloed groups. So some of the things I'm going to mention are things, as Diana has said earlier, a lot of us libraries do similar kinds of things, but it's fun to see how everyone kind of implements it. Obviously, one of the basic things we all try to do are variations in collection format. So when we want people to be using our collections in the ways that make the most sense for them. So there's lots of options these days for how to do that. Obviously, there's large print books we're all familiar with, lots of versions of ways to listen to audio, whether that's books on CD, playaways, streaming. We are also a partner with the Ohio Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. This is there's a national library, there's a statewide version of this run out of Cleveland that we participate in, and we get our patrons connected to this service that they can then receive different ways of interacting with books. If they have any kind of disability that prevents them from engaging with print. That could be their vision, but it could also be their ability to hold a book and turn the pages. So lots of different ways in which people need that service. And so we get them connected to that. We offer, as many libraries do, lots of streaming services, which can be really helpful for people who are need to vary the print format. So if you can download something on a digital device that allows you to change the background, the print, the font, all that kind of thing that helps people get access to print materials. You can go to the next one, Courtney. We do have some specific collection items that we've targeted to older adults. It's a collection of kits that we use. They vary. We try to sort of recognize that older adults are a huge age group, right? So there's people who are extremely active and engaged in working, and other people who might be dealing with physical impact of aging, or we might really be talking about caregivers of people who are aging. So these kits all approach those kinds of needs from different angles. They might be physical. There's some things on gardening. There's things that are really focused in on the practicalities of trying to age in place. There's some kits that are focused on dementia. There are kits that are targeted to connect older adults with other generations. And then there are kits that are looking back in time at other decades and some of the entertainment value of what people might remember from previous decades. And those all circulate throughout the system. A lot of what we try to offer when we're building services for older adults is making sure that we are providing those kind of wraparound services that libraries do all the time, filling in those gaps as people are trying to engage with social service institutions, with the government, all kinds, any kind of just the practicalities of life, that we can make that a little bit easier by what they can access at the library. So we host free tax preparation with AARP and United Way's FIDA. They can pick up and print free tax forms for us, which we find is really helpful since most of the tax service these days is shifting onto online. Not everybody in the older community is comfortable with that, and they want that paper form. We can help them get that. We offer free public spaces for them to meet in a safe way with another individual, so they don't have to be meeting with people in their homes if they don't want to. They can be out in a safe public space. We have free computers, obviously, as all libraries do, and laptop access. We provide free faxing. We also, since the pandemic, have offered $1.50 free printing every day to any patron who comes in the door. That was we discovered such a huge boon to the people during COVID that we just kept it, and our board has been generous enough to allow us to do that. So that's heavily used. We also have free notaries at all of our locations. One of the requirements of the notary position is to be vigilant about, protecting older adults and ensuring that as they are signing documents, that it is clear to the notary that this person is signing with understanding of the document without any compulsion. So that's an aspect that our notaries are trained in. And of course, we do everything all libraries do to help people get access to voting, whether that's registering to vote, requesting an absentee ballot. So those are just some of the services we offer everybody, but are definitely used by this group. So in our mobile services department, we have a pretty large department. We have 5 vehicles that travel around the county. They reach out to locations where there are groups that they can reach in one place outside of our fixed locations, also reaching people in the community who can't access us in other ways. A lot of their stops are either at neighborhoods or nursing assisted living facilities. So we go in and we provide materials to them. We do programming, connect them to our services overall. We also have a books by mail program where we are delivering to people who are homebound, and those items there's coordinated through an individual contact with a member of our mobile services department. But the items are mailed to the home. They come just like mail does, and then the individual just mails them back to us through the mail. So that's been building and building. A lot more people are using that service, and we found it's been really popular. So helps us get to more people. We also, as the others do, to provide a lot of technology assistance. We check out what we call internet to go kits, which include a Chromebook and a hotspot to provide wireless access for people in their homes. We also just have hotspots individually that we circulate to patrons. We offer one-on-one appointments for people who need to come in and get assistance. That can vary such a wide range. The libraries are really, I think, a key piece of what helps bridge any kind of digital divide. It can be come in and we can help you understand how to use a mouse. We can help you understand how to use this new phone that your daughter just gave you and you don't know what to do with it, kind of thing, all the way up to more complicated assistance and job help and all those kinds of things. So we get a lot of use of that. We have a lot of technology classes that we offer that are provide a really wide range of assistance. Again, everything from the very nuts and bolts of engaging and getting online safely and things like that, all the way up to more advanced things that people may need. We also have access to LinkedIn Learning, which has a myriad of different courses that people can use to develop skills in a wide range of areas. We also have what's called North Star Digital Literacy, which is a tool for assessing how someone's skills sort of line up against different programs, and provides some tutorials within the program to give people basic instruction on their digital skills and get them moving into the next stage of their learning. All right, next one. And then we also, engage a lot with older adults in helping them explore and preserve their past. We have a very busy genealogy department that provides a lot of access to digital resources, but also just has a very dedicated team of individuals who work closely with individuals as they explore their family history. People can come in as complete novices and never having touched any of this before, or having done a lot on their own and who are stuck and need a little help getting past a little further in their journey. So that's a busy location. We also are doing a lot with the local history of our area through Stark Memory. We digitize photos, provide access to them, and are sort of working with other agencies in the area like the McKinley Museum to ensure that the Canton local history and other areas of Stark County are reflected and accessible to everybody digitally. We also have a conversion service in our Maker Studio that gets used a ton. It's like the most popular thing in our Maker Studio is for people to convert older audiovisual formats to digital. So no matter what that format might be, whether it's film or audio, there's mechanisms to translate that over into digital and make it more shareable. So that's very popular with our older adults. Okay. And then we just have a lot of different opportunities for people to come in and get connected. And I think that's obviously what North Canton is doing so well in creating those opportunities for people to engage with each other and build community. We have many programs that we offer for all ages. We have specific programs for older adults that range from entertainment, finances, health, safety, technology, all kinds of things. But we also see a lot of benefit from those programs where people are primarily coming for the social engagement, like our reading clubs, our knitting clubs, the chess club, our philosophy club. Really gives people an opportunity in a smaller group to connect with someone else in their day. We get a lot of inquiry from older adults who are interested in volunteering. They have a lot, they might be retired, but they're looking for things to do. They have a lot of skills, they have a lifetime experience, and they're looking for ways to connect. So our annual volunteer fair is something we've used to kind of connect those into the many organizations in our area who can benefit from volunteers. And then things like our museum passes, we're trying to find more ways to partner with our community to get people using and engaging in the arts in our area. And so our museum passes are another feature that we suggest to people to say, hey, come by, pick up this, spend a day with your friend and get out and about a little bit. So those are just some of the things that we're working on. This is definitely an area where we're trying to move forward. And so I'm really interested in hearing all the things the other locations are doing. So such a wealth of resources out there in the other libraries. Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, there's a little bit of overlap, but everyone I've noticed does interpret all of their services differently and implement them differently. So I'm really glad that everyone was able to join today. So thank you again for that. And we're going to go over to Michelle from Akron Summit County Public Library.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Allman, the Deputy Director here at Akron Summit County Public Library, and just wanted to start by thanking Matt for your kind words about libraries. And I always try to be a positive person. So if we had to think of a positive thing about the pandemic, is I think all of our libraries will agree that it really gave us an opportunity to show how adaptive we can be to our communities and staying relevant. And I think that's a common theme throughout our history. So thank you to Direction Home. We really value our partnership with you, and I appreciate this opportunity to talk about what we do. You know, librarians we can go on and on and on about all the great things that we provide for our communities. And I don't know how many times I've heard in talking to people, well, I didn't know that the library had fill in the blank. So I tried to really focus as much as I could, but I mentioned to Courtney, thank you for organizing the slides and sharing them afterwards. I'm not going to go through all the slides on the slide deck. After the question slide, there's several other resources for everyone to look at afterward. So if you go to our website under adults, 3 of our main categories that I'm going to focus on today are our services for adults living with dementia and their caregivers. Secondly, events that the library has. And then third, our mobile services that we offer. And next, please. So the library is a dementia inclusive library, meaning that all of our staff members have received Dementia Friends certification through the Ohio Council for Cognitive Health. And my predecessor, Barb White, was very involved, and I continue to work with her for our county-wide designation as being dementia friendly. Next, please. So one of the resources that we provide is the Memory Cafe programming. And this is something that we received money from the Ohio Council for Cognitive Health to support. So this information is also on our website, but this is our fall flyer for listing of programming. And this is more of a socialization and activity program that we offer for people in the earlier stages of dementia or memory loss, along with caregivers. We are going down to 1 a month for the winter months, but I encourage all of you, if you know anybody who might benefit from this program, to please spread the word. And this information is on our website. We keep the current events posted on there as well. Next, please. We also offer memory kits. and I saw them listed from some of the other libraries, but ways to engage with adults who are experiencing memory loss to help with some of those skills. Next, please. And a couple more pictures of examples. That's the listing of the different topics that we offer right now. And these are items that can be requested. They're housed at our main library, but they can be sent to any branch location for circulation. And the second main topic I wanted to touch on is events. And I did want to mention, I'm talking about some of the things that we offer at all of our locations. So we do have our main library as well as 18 locations. 9 of them are in the city of Akron, and then 9 of them are in the different areas throughout the county. But in addition to these events that I'll be talking about, I also wanted to mention that our libraries are very involved in outreach as well. Presenting programs at different community centers. And so if you're interested in any of that information or would like something set up in your area, please contact the location that's closest to you to find out what might already be happening or to set up something new. But we offer a variety of events, author visits, our main event, Many Voices. We've had 2 of those this season and another one coming up on November 6th. Those are all here at the main library. We have a lot of book discussions, computer classes, concerts, both in our main library and at some of our branches, cookbook clubs. And then I just have 2 examples up there of one of our book discussion groups that's at the Richfield Library and a needle crafters program that takes place at our North Hill branch library. And then we also offer free hands-on computer classes, both at our main library as well as at our branches. We have an electronic services division that have technology trainers. And so if you go to our website under services, you can look at that schedule and narrow it down for whichever location, or if you're looking for a class on a certain type of subject, there's a wide variety of topics offered. And then I kind of just went through and looked at our listing of events for November and listed some of the ones that might specifically cater to older adults, as well as other ones that that might just have a wider appeal. But you can take a look at those a little bit more closely once you receive the slide deck. And then the final thing I wanted to chat about was our mobile services offerings. And the first one is our lead service, which is library service provided through the mail. So all of the information is provided on there. And then on the next slide, we have a listing of our mobile services van service. So we do have a van schedule that goes out, and I put everything on in alphabetical order there, but our van visits all of these different locations throughout our service area, and it is wheeling carts of materials into the centers for people to browse. But we also do a lot of holds that way too. So our residents or customers who visit or live at these places are able to place holds on specific items. And we also offer the Golden Buckeye registration and voter registration through that service as well. I think that might have been the last slide. The other ones after that, I'll let everyone can have a chance to look at those at their convenience.
There are, they do a lot. All the libraries do a lot. So I'm always impressed with Akron and Stark and North Canton and Wayne. I'm sad to say that Portage wasn't able to make it today, but thank you for Michelle for segueing us into the final segment of this presentation. I'm just going to go through it really briefly. They have a great presentation that's going to be included in the slide deck that we'll send out. But Portage County District Library has an entire outreach services branch. So obviously that's going to be geared towards providing library services to those who are unable to visit the branches. And they have a couple really creative ways that they're doing that, aside from just home delivery. So they have some information here about getting signed up for delivery. There's some information about exceptions. I think the Kent and Ravenna areas are not included as they have their own library systems, but that information is in here as well as how the deliveries take place. They have a really intricate schedule for their delivery services. So that information is included here. And they do provide that service delivery to residential care facilities and assisted living communities as well. They also have some dementia or memory kit themes that they're offering. They're all listed here. There's some fun ones in there. I think there's one about pets, fashion, jewelry, all sorts of fun little hobbies that you can get the kits for. And then some of the more unique ways that they're trying to reach people in the community who aren't able to come into a physical branch. They have locker services throughout the county where you can put things into a locker and they'll come pick them up, or they'll drop things off to a locker that people can go and get their books that way. There's just a few locations: Aurora, Brimfield, Edinburgh, Deerfield, Hiram, Manoa, Randolph, Rootstown, and Shalersville. And then there's a library book vending machine. I was so excited when I found this slide. I think I was in the office and I was like, Lori, Rootstown has a library book vending machine. So on the Neomed campus, you can find that there. If you're a Portage County Library card holder, definitely check that out, because that's a pretty cool thing to say that you've been able to do. You can make your own requests for their delivery services, or they can pull some for you. And then there's contact information as well. They are waiting for their bookmobile. It should be coming in the next month or so. And then they also do classes and things like yoga, arthritis exercise classes, book discussions, cooking clubs, adult crafting programs, and more. So that link and that contact information will be there for you in the slide deck. So I'm going to pull up that's our last library that we're going through today. So I'm going to leave this here on the screen, our 2024 schedule, and then we can open it up for some last minute Q&As. If you have to jump off, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll be sure to get you an answer to any questions that you may have. Otherwise, drop them in the chat anyways. We'll address them as we can, or feel free to unmute.
I just wanted to comment, it sounds like libraries were age-friendly long before the age-friendly movement started.
That's a good way to put it.
And, most libraries, the first thing they mention is service to the homebound, materials. And I really have seen how important that is in nursing home visits I make. There's one resident who's very keen mind. He can't get around, but he's a very inquisitive researcher, and the Stark County Library not only brings materials from their collection, they leverage through Search Ohio and OhioLink. And he's always got a shelf of books and notebooks that he's working on. And the library has opened up that whole statewide collection of specialized materials for him through that service. So it's really impressive.
That's great. And I will just put a shout out there. I mean, Ohio is like library mecca. Like, we have a really good library system, and it's extremely collaborative. So libraries do not hold on to our ideas in competitive ways. We share tremendously. So I would say most good ideas you see popping up at any library might have germinated at another library, and it's just such a nice environment to work in that is, benefits all of our patrons. And since many of our patrons cross around to different systems, I know I've got about 6 different library cards in my wallet, so it's all a good thing, and that I think it only helps everybody. So
yeah, to follow up on that, and we are very grateful to be part of the state budget. A lot of libraries in different states are part of their municipalities or cities, so they're competing with funds with the city. And for us, we get a certain percentage of that budget, and then as part of that as well, anybody in Ohio is eligible to get a library card at any other library in the state. So it does allow for that, what Jennifer mentioned of us being able to be very collaborative and open and sharing with each other.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you all again for coming out and virtually and sharing with us what you're doing. I know I'm sitting here thinking, and Direction Home has been able to work with you, each of these branches or each of these library systems repeatedly in the past, and we have stuff on the books in the future with each one of you. So it really is a collaborative space, and you do amazing work. Any other questions for our panelists today?
I do have one quick question. Jeannie, are there fees for any of these services that are provided? i.e. like the training for on the computers, the whatever. I was just interested.
No, we have no fees attached to any of the services that I mentioned. That's probably true for most others. Yeah.
No.
No.
Nope.
It's fabulous. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I have to run, but I really appreciate having a chance to share. Thank you.
All right. If there are any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll get them to our panelists if we need to. Otherwise, I'll turn it back over to Lori to close this out.
Thanks, Courtney. Wow, fantastic stuff. Kudos to you guys at the library and all the outreach that you're doing. Thanks so much, Diana, Michelle, Christina, Jen, and Courtney for sharing the Portage County. That's very, very cool stuff. And like Jeannie put in the chat, I had no idea you guys did all this, and it's so cool. And you've heard that before, I know. Congratulations again to Ella. I mean, we have a Hall of Famer in our midst. How cool is that? I mean, that is so cool. So thanks for all the wonderful reports as well from the county and what's been going on. Portage County, great to hear about your luncheon. That's so cool. And the robot thing, the first thing I always think of, Jeannie, is I think of Rosie on Jetsons. So that's kind of cool too. The age-friendly move forward, Dan, it's a slow process, but you know, if we're patient, good things come out of it. And the fact that you're over that hurdle of that needs assessment is amazing. It's so cool. Look forward to the hybrid meeting in January. That'll be fun. And I can't say what great news it is about the aging in place funding. It's so neat. And it's nice to see that other people besides all of us that have been screaming from the rafters for our older adults see the need as well. So with all of that being said, anybody else have anything to add? Great. So January 26th is our next meeting, 2024. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. This is Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
It's Crystal.
Thanks, Crystal. Happy holidays, everybody, and we'll see you next year.